Hello and welcome to the Badminton Europe podcast. It's my great pleasure to welcome Hans-Kristian Vittinghus. I haven't got to call you that yet. Hans-Kristian, thank you for joining us here in the Badminton Europe podcast. And, we'll get straight into it. And you started off already this year with some decent results in semi-final Malaysia, quarter-final Indonesia. It's been a good start to the year for you. Did you expect that start? And, what really brought about those good results for you?
I wouldn't say I expected it, but of course it was a great start to the year for me because I had a new sponsor. I changed from Carlton to Victor on the 1st of January, and it was quite important for me to get a very good start with Victor. They showed some faith in me, even though I didn't have a great year last year. So I really wanted to repay that kind of faith, and starting off with a semi-final in Malaysia, which was also a Victor-sponsored tournament, was just a perfect start. But I hadn't made a semi-final in a Super Series event, now a World Tour, but in a Super Series since I won Australia in 2016. So it was kind of hard for me to expect to just make a semi-final straight away here in 2018. But I feel like I had a good long stint of training from ever since I got back from Hong Kong and China Open in November. So I think that's the reason why I actually performed well in January. I had 2 months with good proper training with no injuries, and I was actually also pretty high in motivation because of this switch from Carlton to Victor. So I think that also played a role in why I did so well in Asia in January.
Yeah, you mentioned Australia, and there's been a bit of a gulf between Australia and this semi-final. Is consistency something that you kind of need to work on and get this really good level, which we know you have, but at a more consistent level?
Yeah, well, I think in 2016 I had a very consistent level throughout the year, and then in 2017 I would actually say I was quite consistent as well. Unfortunately, the level was just much lower than in 16. Obviously, I would like my level to be consistently higher, and that is what I'm working on every day, but I think it's quite difficult to say how you work exactly on consistency. I keep on trying to improve my level, and I work hard on getting to understand my own game better and my flaws in my game, but also the strong sides of my game. I also work on the mental part of the game quite a lot. So I think I am trying quite hard to be more stable at a higher level, but it's just it's not as easy as it may sound to be more constant in my performances, but it is an issue that I'm trying to work on, and I have been working on it my entire career.
Looking ahead then for the rest of this year and maybe beyond, what are the objectives? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah, well, the biggest objective for this year by far is helping Denmark defend the Thomas Cup title in May in Bangkok. It was a huge moment last time when we won it, and it was historic, and it will be even more historic if we can retain the title. I think there are quite a few strong teams this time around, but I really see Denmark as one of the biggest favorite, actually. So it's the biggest goal for me. It's to be part of the team and be part of the team in a way where I also contribute in a way that we can fight for the title.
Yeah, let's talk about that Thomas Cup while you've just mentioned it. And, what a week, because Denmark was not without having its problems that week, injuries and sickness or whatever it may be. And you guys were down to the last remaining few guys, and you pulled together to deliver that historic win. What was it, when you look back in it 2 years on, what was it that brought you guys together to deliver that for Denmark?
Yeah, I think it was part of the reason was actually all the trouble we endured that week. It already started a couple of months before when we played the European Team Championships, where Carsten unfortunately got his, I don't know the English word, but head trauma.
Brain aneurysm.
Yeah, exactly, brain aneurysm. So already at that time we had endured some big trouble, and we came through it. And when we arrived in China, Jan had some trouble with his injuries, and Colin got injured during the week, and as you said, we were down to the last man standing in the semi-finals and finals. So we were just kind of forced to get closer together and just fight for each other. And I think it was actually a bit blessing in disguise, because it made sure that already from the start of the event in China, we needed to get every single player on court and contribute to the team. And also, at the end of the week, all 10 players on the team had at least one crucial win for us. So every man on the team felt like they were an important part of the team, no matter if you were the 10th player on the team or if you were the first man singles, as Victor was. Yeah. We all felt like we had a significant role to play on the team, and I think that was what made it really special to be a part of that team.
You know, there was, as you said, every man delivered. Emil delivered some important results. But for me, and certainly for many people as a badminton fan, getting that winning point when you turn to the team, can you explain that feeling? Can you explain, how much of a milestone and an achievement in your career that is? And is that something that you are going to look back on forever as one of the greatest moments in your badminton career?
Yeah, for sure it is. But actually, the moment I remember the best and that made the biggest impression on me was actually delivering the win in the quarterfinal against Japan. And that was because of all the history for me in Thomas Cup. I've never been able to really deliver at Thomas Cup level. The first time I got selected to play, I had to stay home because of illness, and then I wasn't selected for the team the next time, and then in 2014 I was injured 2 months leading up to the event, so I couldn't really perform. And Thomas Cup has always been a big dream of mine to win. So when I finally actually performed and helped the team and helped Denmark win a medal by winning the decisive match against Japan in that quarterfinal, it was such a huge monkey off my back, and like I was so relieved and so happy, and just it made me feel like it was all worth it at that very moment. And when you turn around and just look at all your teammates, all the coaches, and the women's team was also there cheering for the quarterfinal. Yeah, it's an indescribable feeling. You feel so happy, relieved, over the moon, and excited. And I think that win in the quarterfinal for me made it a lot easier to play both the semi-final and the final with my back against the wall, because I already proved to myself that I could actually handle this kind of pressure, and I could find a way to win. So I was actually, I was quite calm in the semi-final and final because I already knew that, I had the tools to handle the situation.
You guys owe me a shirt, actually, because I remember watching that in the early hours in the morning and spitting a cup of tea.
Yeah,
all down my brand new shirt.
I'll give you a shirt.
That's okay.
That's worth a gold medal if I need to give you a T-shirt, for sure.
Looking ahead, you guys now, people want to take you down. You're now going into the next Thomas Cup as the defending champions. Yes, everyone would always speak of Denmark as medalists, the best in Europe. But now people are looking at this Danish men's team, and it'll be the core of that team again. That will more than likely be there again. You're going in now, with a weight of expectation. Done it before. How does that differ?
Well, I think the biggest difference now is that we all know that we can actually do this. It's been like what do you call that? Like not a ban, but like it's been so difficult for Denmark over all the years to actually win this title. They tried so many times. We've been to the final, is it 8 or 9 times? 9 times. Yeah, before we actually won it. And to finally actually get that last hurdle, I think that's going to make a big difference for us, that we can go into the week in Bangkok and actually honestly believe that we can win this event. And as you say, it's probably going to be the core of the same team again. So all the guys that are going to be there, maybe minus 1 or 2, will have tried to win before.
What will be a successful Thomas Cup for Denmark this year?
Well, I think China is probably the best team on paper, but I think after China, it's a close call between Indonesia and Denmark as the two other biggest favorites. So I would say if we make a final again, then I will be very happy if we can play for the title one more time. But if we end up with a medal and losing to China in the semi-final, that could also be a satisfying result. But, I would say nothing less of a medal would be satisfying.
Let's move on from the Thomas Cup, and we can't wait for that, of course. We'll talk about the Danish system. You guys, you're a bunch of guys playing at a high level. You're training with each other every single day. What is that like, knowing that you've got these guys behind you all the time pushing you? Does that push you on, or does that sometimes become like a burden?
Well, of course, it comes with a bit of pressure, but I think it's also that kind of pressure you need to actually push yourself to a higher level. And I would say that most of it makes it just more motivating to have all these guys to train alongside, not only the singles players that I'm training with every day, but also when you get to the hall and you see, for example, right now we have 4 men's doubles pairs who are all at world-class level. So when you see the intensity when they're training together, you just get inspired for your own training. And obviously, when you can walk on court and play with Victor, who's played some of the best badminton you've ever seen, then you are going to be more inspired and you are going to be more motivated to also do better yourself. But I'm also aware, and all the other guys are aware, that there are guys coming up all the time that wants to have our spot in the team. I'm 32 years old now, and I'm the oldest guy in the men's singles group, and I know that guys like Rasmus Gemke or even younger guys, they want to be in the spot where I am right now, where I am one of the guys on the Thomas Cup team, for example. But again, I can just say that if these guys are not there to apply that kind of pressure, I don't think you are going to push yourself that the final few percent that makes a difference at the very highest level.
Hans-Kristian, you are known as the entertainer on court. You have this. When I introduce anyone new to badminton, the first thing I'll do is I'll show them a clip of you diving around the court, retrieving shuttles, and then as a badminton fan, I will go back and I will always watch those videos because they're the fun ones. Are you comfortable with that persona, and what is it inside you that brings out this ultimate entertainer?
I'm very comfortable if that's how people view me as a badminton player. It's actually one of the things that I always discuss with my sports psychologist, that I want to show that I think it's fun to play badminton and that I'm enjoying myself on court. And I do that the best way by fighting for every point and just giving 100% every time. And if something fun happens on court, I want to be able to laugh and smile and have a good atmosphere with my opponent every time. So it is an important value for me, and I'm very happy that I get a lot of feedback from fans and media as well, that they actually enjoy it, watching me do these kind of things. Of course, I don't want to make any kind of compromise so it affects my performance in a bad way, but I don't think it does. I think, on the contrary, it actually helps me perform better, that I show to everyone and to myself that I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Sometimes I would wish that I didn't have to dive so much, that my footwork was just a little bit better, or my understanding of the game was better, so I didn't get in so many bad situations. But if I see just a slight chance of me getting to a shuttle, I will dive, and I will continue to do so until the day I retire.
A few weeks ago we had the European men's and women's team championships in Kazan, and we were missing you at that point. But you had a bigger fish to fry. You've become a dad recently, and as soon as I mentioned it, you could see the smile, and I know what it's like to be a dad, and that feeling. How has that changed your life? Yeah,
it has changed my life completely. It just puts everything in a different perspective, for sure. The very moment you see your baby the first time, or even hear him cry, just the first time you see the proof of life, it's just an unbelievable feeling. And winning Thomas Cup was big, but getting your firstborn son is that's a lot bigger. It's an indescribable feeling. But I don't see it's going to change my life as a badminton player. I want to still do what I do now and enjoy that, but it just puts everything into perspective, and hopefully it can actually help me as a player to not take things too seriously. If I'm not doing so well in a period, then I know I still have my son back home, and he will love me no matter what.
Yeah. Are you getting sleep?
I'm getting sleep. My wife is not getting the same amount of sleep, but I'm getting a lot. So I'm not complaining.
Get your sleep, man. We need it. Us boys need it a little bit more than the women. You had the disappointment about the European Championships. We know what happened there. You were not selected, even though you were number 3, I think, in the automatic list. A little bit of time has gone by since that. You've probably had a little bit of time to reflect on it. Most people on the planet would have loved to see you there. Can you sum up that feeling again of not getting that selection after medaling last year? And have you moved on from it?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I would really love to be there at the European Championship. So I had nothing to do with not being selected. I really wanted to go. And I was extremely disappointed at the time for not being selected. I was also, I would say, shocked because it was in my tournament plan the entire year, and from all my talks with my coaches, I had a very clear idea that I was gonna go. So yeah, it came as a complete surprise to me that I wouldn't be able to go. Have I put it behind me? Maybe not 100%, and it's gonna hurt a little bit extra when the tournament is actually on, that I won't be there, because it has quite a big meaning on quite a few things. I'm fighting quite hard right now to get a top 16 seeding for the World Championships, and I could use some points, and the European Championships offers some good points. I will most likely drop out of top 20 on the world rankings as well, and that has some financial implications with my contracts. So there's quite a few things that it actually implicates, and but I think what's worst of it all for me personally is that my biggest goal is winning the Thomas Cup and contributing to that in May, and I will play All England in March, and then the next event for me is going to be the Thomas Cup, and I think 2 months is going to be a little bit too long to go with no events. So the European Championships was going to be a very important build-up for me also to Thomas Cup. So I'm going to continue to be a bit disappointed about it, but with that being said, there's nothing I can do about it now. I won't be playing no matter what I do, and even if the other guys get injured, I can't get in because of how the rules are. So I need to move on, and I need to see it as an opportunity to actually have a good long period of training at home, and I'll also get some extra time to see my son. So that's the positive side of it.
How do you see now men's singles in particular? We always have the Europe v Asia. There's always a comparison. Are we closing the gap in your opinion? And what do we have to do to even close that gap more?
Yeah, I would really like to say that I believe we are closing the gap, but to be honest, I don't think we are. I don't think that only goes for men's singles. I think that's in general for badminton. I don't think Europe is really getting closer to Asia in any way when it comes to performance on court. I think everything outside of court, with the presentation and with the development of the national associations and the environment for the players, I think is growing in Europe, and we are closing the gap. But I still think on court we are as far as behind as we've been before. That doesn't mean we can't fight with them. We still have players in each category that can actually fight with them, but there is quite some way to go before we are competitive with more than a few players in each category.
Yeah, we'll sign off now, and just one more question I have for you, and we're here and we're doing this Badminton Europe podcast, but you and Victor kind of led the way with your own Serve and Smash podcast that you started maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. Something like that.
Right before the Rio Olympics.
Okay. Yeah. Been a little bit quiet of late, but I'm sure you'll ramp it back up again.
Hopefully,
Tell Victor he's got plenty of time, now that he's a little bit injured. But what was the idea behind that, and is kind of new media, social media, and everything about this online wave of presenting yourself, is that something you see as an athlete that's hugely important?
Yeah, well, the idea arose because both Victor and myself are huge fans of podcasts, and we had both been searching for badminton podcast and we couldn't find anything. So we thought, why not start something ourselves? And we are actually extremely happy to see that a lot of media are picking it up. Danish TV2 has almost a weekly podcast now about badminton. Badminton Europe is doing this one now. I also saw that Raj Youssef and Toby Penty is now planning on doing a podcast. So it really...
That'll be funny.
Yeah, it will be, and it really makes me happy to see this kind of growing market for for any kind of badminton discussion and talk out there. It can only be good for the sport, and it makes it more accessible for people to actually get to know the players and the sport even better. And I also see it as a very good opportunity for players to promote themselves. For me and Victor, it has been great, and we got more media attention because of that than we would have had if we didn't do the podcast. And yeah, for sure, we want to pick it up again. I know we've been quiet for the last, I think almost 6 months now, but we haven't buried it yet. We are going to pick it up again at some point. We've just been a bit busy with other stuff, but yeah.
Well, if you're looking for somebody to come over and ask questions, I'm the man.
Yeah, sure.
We'll wrap it up, HK. At that point, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching. My huge thanks to Hans-Kristian for joining us here at the Badminton Europe podcast. Remember to click, like, and share all our social media posts. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, of course, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. And the same goes for Hans-Kristian, very, very active on social media. So follow him on Instagram and Facebook, I think.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And Twitter, and of course, I think most of you are following it as it is already. That's it for now, Hans-Kristian. Thanks very much. We'll be back again soon. Thank you. Goodbye.